All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for 9 minutes with me all over Facebook, IGTV, and YouTube. You can, of course, hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. The video is brought to you by our great friends at Empower Federal Credit Union. Go ahead and log on to empowerfcu.com. That's empowerfcu.com, and find your peace of mind today with Empower Federal Credit Union. We are also brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College, the Wolfenden Law Firm, and Timberbanks Golf Club. Go ahead and visit timberbanks.com today and find out more about your 2020 membership. So, the Buffalo Bills, we know now that they're in the playoffs. We know now that there's 2 games to go against the Patriots and Jets. We also know that there's an extremely outside shot that the team can win the division. We know all about the layers of this season with the second-year quarterback, the offensive line overachieving, the defense being amazing, the coaching staff coming together, the general manager and Sean McDermott, the GM and head coach together, obviously doing their thing with the draft and how that's all come to fruition with a lot of the guys they've picked the last couple of years. We know about the stardom of Trey White. All those things are in place. We know all those things. But the point of this video is, do the Buffalo Bills have sustainability? Because one of the things that's going on in sports today is that you'll see a team, a flash in the pan, a team kind of come out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden, within a year or two, they're completely and utterly in the gutter. Look just at the NFL the last few years, what has happened. The LA Rams go to the Super Bowl, and while they're still an all right team, a couple games over 500, they're going to miss the postseason in what I think a lot of people thought was the Rams' year to win the division. Although, here we are with Seattle having a killer year. They're better than everybody thought, including me. And also the San Francisco 49ers, maybe they arrive a year early with Jimmy Garoppolo. In this particular case, the Rams aren't going to make the playoffs. Remember, it was just a few years ago that the Carolina Panthers won the NFC and had arrived on the big stage. And with Cam Newton, everybody thought, okay, Cam Newton and the Panthers have a ton of sustainability. Now the Panthers are in full rebuild mode, and they're starting Will Grier this weekend. They have no idea who their quarterback is going to be in 2020. Cam Newton perhaps is going to be traded. You've got a lot of the cap hit with him. Ron Rivera got fired. I mean, this franchise is in shambles right now, and they were just a few years ago in the Super Bowl. It is extremely hard to have sustainability. Now, those are major players, major cases of arriving on the scene and going away because, look, every fan base would love you to arrive in the Super Bowl, even in a losing cause, and I think a lot of Bills fans would even take, even for the heartbreak of losing 4 in a row, if you were to tell Bills fans this year that they'd make the Super Bowl and lose, I still think a lot of fans would take that. I certainly would, because you would be one of the top 2 teams in the National Football League. It is hard to sustain success in sports across the board. But I do think that if you're looking at just being, a playoff team / playoff contender, and the team in the East, pardon me, that also has the opportunity to take over from the New England Patriots, when eventually Tom Brady and Bill Belichick do retire, I think the team that has the potential to do it the most is the Buffalo Bills. I think there's an absolute chance for the Bills to do it when you think about what's in place. You think about the general manager and Brandon Beane. You think about the head coach and Sean McDermott. I realize that the assistants will probably get major looks at getting head coaching jobs in the NFL, but the reality of the situation with those 2 guys is even if they don't strike, when the iron is hot and get head coaching jobs in the NFL, they could still be extremely efficient coordinators for a few years, 3 to 5 years for the Buffalo Bills. And, maybe it'll be there, maybe it'll be elsewhere, whatever. But if the Bills can maybe keep some of these coaches together, and certainly, we know that the Boogalos aren't going to go anywhere with Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. These guys are here to stay. And, of course, you have a lot of the major core players coming up with contracts, coming up with their rookie deals and the like. And that's why the Bills have to be careful with the salary cap moving forward when you look at guys like, Trey White, who's going to have to get paid. Matt Milano is going to need to get paid. Tremaine Edmonds is going to need to get paid. And in only a couple of short years, you're going to have Devin Singletary, perhaps, who the Bills think is their future running back, their number 1. The problem, of course, with Devin Singletary on Sunday night against Pittsburgh was fumbling the football, but there's still a lot of promise there. I know that they've locked up for a little bit of time anyway, the Jerry Hugheses, the John Browns, the Cole Beasleys, the Mitch Morrises, etc. But there are some major players. Oh, by the way, how about the quarterback in Josh Allen? If they do indeed believe that he is the guy, and right now they do, because he does continue to grow every single game. He still has yet to play 2 full seasons. You're going to talk about paying Josh Allen here pretty soon as well. The Bills have to be careful with the salary cap. Now, look, they've got about 86, 87, I believe, around their million. I think it's 86 to 90-ish $1 million. I don't know the exact number, but it is in that wheelhouse. And when you look at the Bills in the offseason, they have had a lot of great drafts. This is now 2 years in a row where the Bills have had fantastic drafts. They've known when to trade down, when to trade up, when to get extra draft picks. And a lot of the guys they've gotten, they have come to fruition. Look at the players now that are out there, who have been major factors for the Buffalo Bills. They've had, for the most part, pretty solid free agent off seasons as well. Tyler Kroft finally earning some of his millions with that big-time touchdown catch against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at Dawson Knox. I realize he can't make the easy catch. He makes a spectacular catch, but Dawson Knox has been a pretty good draft pick as well. Devin Singletary, again, pretty good draft pick. Cody Ford, I know he's been, having his ups and downs this year. He's gotten dominated at times, but other times he's had actually some pretty good success. I think he's got a nice future, in Buffalo. You look at guys like Deion Dawkins, and, from the end of the old regime to the new regime, where to place guys and where they were in the draft. You have a look at guys who are just making impact plays right now. Tremaine Edmonds right now and Trey White, those are your two best defensive players. The Bills have a core here. I mean, they've got Josh Allen, who they think is a franchise quarterback. They have an edge rusher in Ed Oliver, who was picked just last year in the top 10 of the NFL draft. They think he's going to be a bulldozer for a long, long time. They have a shutdown corner in Trey White, who, should they pay, could be a Buffalo Bill for life. He could be a number one corner for the duration of his career in Buffalo. They have major cornerstone pieces. They have Mitch Morse for the next, 3 or 4 years to be the center for Josh Allen. They have cornerstone pieces. They have a lot of cap room. They have a general manager. They have a head coach. And again, as I mentioned, the cornerstone of Josh Allen being the quarterback. The Buffalo Bills, I think, for being a playoff contender / playoff team, getting there, I think they do have some sustainability. Now, the question becomes, is this team a team that can take the next step? What does that next step mean? It means winning the AFC East, playing a home game in January in the playoffs, and gulp, within 2 years, can they be a Super Bowl contender? That is really what we're looking at here. And the way the defense is built with the core players of Milano and Tremaine Edmonds and Trey White, and certainly Jerry Hughes locked in for a few more years, and you have Ed Oliver, and perhaps you have the veterans staying for a couple more years in Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, etc. There is an opportunity here for the Buffalo Bills, maybe in 2021 or 2022, depending on the landscape of the AFC, while Pittsburgh is going to be pretty much what they are right now, which is still solid, but Big Ben, at the end of his career, you're losing him as a franchise guy. The Patriots possibly at the end of the run here. You've got a lot of teams that are just kind of in the bucket, and the two teams you'd have to look out for are the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. But those two teams are by no means what the New England Patriots dynasty has been the last 20 years. I would also pay attention to the Houston Texans for the sole reason that they've got Deshaun Watson and a major player at quarterback there with a high-octane offense with Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins. But the future of the AFC the next 2 to 3 years is there for the taking for the Buffalo Bills. If they can somehow get to a 12-4 record, this team could win the AFC East and be a player to host a couple games in January in Buffalo, a place nobody wants to go to, and gulp, perhaps be a contender in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. But the here and now is exactly that. They've got a playoff game. They've got 2 games remaining on the schedule in terms of the Patriots and the Jets. We'll see if this team has sustainability in terms of making the playoffs, and we'll see if they have sustainability to take the next step in trying to win a division and possibly contending for an AFC title. I'm Mike Lindsley. 9 Minutes with Me is brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College, Hides of Liverpool, Bradley's Jewelers, the Wolfenden Law Firm, and our great friends at Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare. Go ahead and log on to the web, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, and check out what they've got to offer. You can drop off your pup if you live in Central New York. They're also partnering with B&R Bunker House Adoptables. Make sure you adopt a pup this winter. Plenty need homes. Of course, hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports, and as I always tell you, enjoy the games.